Well, hello. This message is going out for the Caribbean Queens and Gene Stevens. I'm so thankful that you made the decision to invest in you for Career Conference. And, next to being there with you live, the next best thing is getting to send this message from Sweet Home, Alabama, all the way to you. So for this next segment, I'm excited to focus a little bit on two things. We're going to talk a little bit about our emotional management. We talk a lot in Mary Kay about money management and about time management, but I really believe one of the key ingredients for being successful in this business and taking it from here to here is our emotional management, right? And what happens in these 6 inches in between our ears. So we're going to talk a little bit about our emotional management. Some people call that your emotional intelligence or your emotional quotient, your EQ. Sometimes we talk about our IQ and our intelligence quotient, but in Mary Kay, I believe we have a ton of intelligent consultants, right? They know a lot of information, but their emotional intelligence and how they choose to operate and how they choose to really qualify these 6 inches in their mind, that is either the thing that will keep them here or take them from here to there. So we're going to talk about our emotional intelligence, our emotional quotient, if you will, and we're also going to talk just a little bit about visioneering. Okay, so y'all ready? Let's jump in. All right, first of all, one of the things that I have had, and you guys, I have very little paper in my Mary Kay office. I'm talking like in 13 years, I have 2 filing drawers, and I know most everything is online, but I'm so glad that somebody taught me this really early in my Mary Kay journey. And I still have this one piece of paper, you guys, and I have gone back to it over and over and over again. And if I look down here at the bottom, it actually comes from somebody who raised us in Mary Kay. Y'all, our Mary Kay heritage is so thick. I mean, it's really thick. And there was like Mary Kay Ash herself, the lady, and she raised Rena Turbot. And you guys, Rena was the closest thing to Mary Kay Ash that we had left before she passed away just a couple years ago. And Rena raised Jeannie, raised me, who shared with Julie. So I'm talking, you guys, you be so proud of your Mary Kay heritage. That is why this company needs more national areas like ours, okay? And why we're excited to hurry up and get this thing done, because our company needs nationals like me and like you and like this area that we're trained by her. So this was shared by National Sales Director Rena Turbot, and one of the things I love is it is timeless. This is a lesson that whether you're brand spanking new, who are all the new girls? Raise your hand in the air, wave at me, okay. Whether you are maybe, kind of in that new to about 2 years range, and you're in that maybe consultant, senior consultant, red jacket range, or maybe you have quite some tenure in Mary Kay, you are going to have to revisit this lesson over and over. So first of all, this is like a clock, okay? I want you to imagine it's like a wheel. And up here at 12 o'clock, this is the first phase that you will go through. And you can go through all these phases over and over and over. Like sometimes I think I go through them many times in a day, okay? The first phase is excitement. And you guys, that is where you caught the vision. You know where you want to go. It's clear. You don't understand how it's going to all happen. You just totally believe that it will. Nothing can stand in the way of your pursuit of your dreams. I mean, you are ready to take on the world for Mary Kay, okay? This is the excitement phase. And sometimes we can be there, like maybe today when you leave an event, or maybe as a new consultant, or maybe when we just had a win and a victory, or somebody has said yes to a booking, or we have a new team member. But it is that excitement phase. Okay, that's at 12 o'clock. Picture around here at 3 o'clock is phase 2. All right, this is phase 2. And guess what it is? Frustration. Okay, we're just not going quite as fast as we would like to. Things are not progressing as quickly, and we have all been there. We get really impatient with ourselves at this stage, and we also get impatient with our customers, and we really kind of start telling ourselves ridiculous things at this stage when we get frustrated, like, oh, nobody wants to book a party, and women just don't do that anymore, or people are too busy. We tell ourselves crazy things in the frustration stage, okay? So that's like at 3 o'clock. Then at like 6 o'clock, if you're taking notes and drawing a little diagram here, at 6 o'clock we have the third phase. And this is the crisis point, okay? The crisis point. At this particular stage, you just have to decide, are you just like throwing that starter kit in the road and running over it 10 times? Or are you going to work it through? You know, or do you tell yourself that I don't really need to go to that Mary Kay event? I mean, I don't have any guests that ever come anyway, and I don't have anything that needs to be celebrated, and I never earn any of those prizes. Or are you telling yourself, you know what, that's where I really need to be, because that's how I'm going to get out of this crisis point. And I believe that this point is where people either decide to kind of round the corner, or Jeannie used to say that success is one block past split. It's kind of that splat, that frustration, or they decide to progress past phase 3 and they'll go into phase 4. And so that phase 4 around here at like 9 o'clock is recommitment. Okay, recommitment. And so that's when you think, okay, I've made it. I've recovered from the situation. I'm stronger for it. I've recaptured my joy, my excitement, and my enthusiasm. And I'm ready for the next obstacle, because I know that there will be one. And here's the thing I want you to know. Every time you take a journey around this circle, okay, from the excitement to the frustration to the crisis to the recommitment, every time you take this circle around, because you've been there before, the journey gets easier and easier and easier, because you know how to get yourself through that cycle. Now, the thing that will also help you progress to that faster is communication and reaching up. You know, I used to call Jeannie, I'm like, I don't want to be the whiner and the complainer. And she said, you're not, as long as you're calling to be solution oriented. And you guys, she was my biggest coach, my fan, my mentor, as I know that Julie and Jean and your adopted directors are for you. You guys, they want nothing more than your success. As long as you're solution oriented. Now, do not call them to whine, okay? But as long as you're solution oriented. So I want you, you know, to ask you, sometimes you'll ask yourself, is it worth it? Like, is it worth it? And yes, absolutely, it is worth it. Just recognize where you are on this circle and know that sometimes I feel like I go through this circle like several times in a day, from I'm excited to somebody said yes to she's a new consultant, to the next phone call somebody's quitting, or yes, I just booked this amazing, awesome new girl, and then I get a call for a postponement. So you find yourself going through this, but you will go through it faster and faster. Okay, so some people will say, gosh, is it worth it? Or, you know, sometimes some people will express interest in a Mary Kay career, but what I want to talk to you for a second about is the price of admission versus the price of success. Okay, and this is another something that has really stuck with me, like been pivotal, marker, monumental. Countless people will express interest in something that can be as life-changing as your Mary Kay career. They'll be intrigued, or they'll be curious, or they'll be tempted to maybe even say yes to a Mary Kay business or your offer that you're offering them. But in the final moment, they'll decline any involvement and they will say no. Have y'all ever had that happen? Raise your hands. Okay. Well, what is it that will keep them out of the winner's circle? What is it that keeps them from making that commitment? It won't be the price of the starter kit. And it certainly won't be that this month, right? Because we are selling dreams, you guys. I'll come back to that later, but we are selling dreams. We're not just selling a $75 starter kit this month of March, right? But it's not going to be the price of that, but it's going to be the price of success. They love the idea of growing a business and being independently wealthy, or having money to give away and all of those things. But while they think of those things, they gag on the effort required that it actually takes to make them happen. And the thought of maybe missing their favorite TV shows, or a bunko party, or some other social gathering is just unthinkable to them. And so they cling to the routine of minor events, because that kind of creates an illusion of some structure. and they just casually let go of their dreams. And it really occurs so subtly that they never even realize what they've done. And I'll give you an example. You know, there are literally like millions of people that plan their lives around TV shows or, you know, just other trivial things. And that schedule for them creates an illusion of structure and focus and purpose in their lives. And it never dawns on them that they're actually watching someone else's dreams and visions play out while their own are just being let go of. And those same little regrets, like when they see you progressing in your Mary Kay journey and up the career path, and they start to see that it changes your life and not theirs, but they quickly kind of just dismiss that, and they'll conclude that, meh, you were just somebody who got lucky, or you just had the right personality, or you were just born for this, or made for sales, or blah, blah, blah. I could tell you countless things like that. But it won't ever occur to them that this business worked for you because you worked for it. And because you were willing to decide what you want, and you were willing to decide what you wanted to give up in order to get what you want. And let me be clear that when I say give up, it never has to come at the cost or the compromise of what is most important to you, like things that you so prize and value. So that's a question that I would ask you to ask yourself. So those first two ingredients are really important. You know, determine what you want. What do you want? What do you want? And then what are you willing to either reschedule, restructure, or give up in order to get what you want? You know, dreams create hope, and goals create a focus for us. And a focus gives us fuel, like gas in the tank, that propels us to action. And so, you know, I would ask you to reevaluate, you know, why did you get involved with Mary Kay? What was your original reason? And is that still your reason now? Or has that reason evolved and changed over time? You know, what do you want between now and seminar? What do you want in this business in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years? What do you want? And what are you willing to do in order to make that become a reality? You know, when I look back over those income statements not long ago, Mary Kay sent us in the mail, and money is not my main motivator, but I will tell you it does provide a lot of choices that are my motivator. You know, choices for us to parent our 3 children together, and for Brad to work from home full time, and for him to homeschool our kiddos, and for me to have an executive work from home income is such a gift, you guys. It's such a privilege. That is my why. That is my reason right now to be working at the level that I am. My reason to finish this national area and get this wrapped up this year, you guys, is because I believe that if my life exists to impact the world for all of eternity, we just have the opportunity to do that more and more and more and more globally, even in that platform, in that position as a national. And so here's kind of what I want to close us with, and this comes from a book by Andy Stanley. I would definitely recommend it. It's called Visioneering. See if you can see this. Okay, Visioneering by Andy Stanley. And one of the things that I've had to learn how to do is to think bigger. You know, some people are born visionaries, and they know how to dream, and they know how to have, you know, goals and dreams and plans and visions. That was a learned skill, and still is a learned skill for me. So just like I learned how to get myself around this emotional cycle, I also had to teach myself, how do I dream? And that's what I want to share with you. Okay, so this comes from a lot of this Visioneering book. Everybody ends up somewhere in life. Would y'all agree? Somewhere. And few people end up somewhere on purpose, and those are the ones with a vision. A vision. Think about, for those of you who wear glasses or contacts, that vision becomes just crystal clear the moment you are looking through that lens. Without a clear vision, the odds are that you're going to come to the end of your life and you're going to wonder. You're going to wonder what you could have done, what you should have done. And like so many, you're going to wonder, did your life even really matter at all? And so vision gives us four things in our daily experience. Vision gives us passion. You know, passion gives us emotion. And a clear, focused vision allows us to experience ahead of time the emotions that are going to be associated with our anticipated future. Okay. And one of the things I've done recently is I had a challenge to list my 50 reasons of why national and why now. Why was that important to me? You guys, every day that is something that I review and I like say those things out loud. And it literally, like, you know, brings tears to my eyes, because that passion and that emotion of that anticipated future is so there for me. And that's been an exercise I've done at every level on the career path. And guess what? I did that to go on target for my very first car, and we did it. And I did that again to earn our first bar pin in our first unit club, and we did it. And I did that again when it came to $500,000 and earning these honker diamond rings. Can you see them? Okay, wait. Oh, and yes, they are real. Here's another one. Oh. And I did that again when it came to earning the diamond bumblebee. And I did it. And I did that again when it came to earning my Cadillac, which you guys are so doing as Caribbean Queens. Y'all are so doing that. And you know what? I'm committed to do it again, to stand on that stage as a national sales director. So taking the time to really take a look at what gives me that passion. And the second thing that a clear vision gives us, okay, is it gives us motivation. It gives us motivation. Vision-driven people are motivated people. You know, if you find me a consultant who says, oh, I'm just not motivated, or if she lacks motivation, I'll just show you somebody who has little or no vision. Dreams, maybe. Ideas, yes. But a vision, not a chance. Okay, the third thing that vision will give us is direction. Vision is like a roadmap, okay? And a vision simplifies directions. It simplifies our decision making. Anything that moves us towards the realization of our vision, it gets a green light. Yes, this is something to say yes to, go for it. Everything else is approached with caution. And because I'm so clear in my vision about where I'm headed as a national sales director, it becomes very easy to make decisions about things to say yes to, things to say no to, and how to prioritize that time. Without vision, you know, good things will cause you to compromise what could really be the very best things. And I've just found that my observation is that people who don't have clear vision, they're just really easily distracted. And I would ask you that, you know, are you easily distracted? They have a tendency to kind of drift from maybe one activity or pleasure or relationship to another. And so without vision, there's not really a compass. Consequently, sometimes they make foolish choices that just rob them of their dreams. And so the very fourth thing that vision gives us is it gives us purpose. And you know, if you don't show up and accomplish your vision, something important won't be accomplished, and suddenly you matter. You matter like a lot. And without you, what could be and what should be won't be. And a vision makes you like a link. It makes you this connecting link between a current reality and between the future. And that dynamic gives your life purpose, and that purpose carries you forward with the momentum to move you through barriers that would otherwise slow you down and that would trip you up. And so I guess that's a question I want to ask you. You know, what's going to happen if you do not accomplish your dream and your vision? And we don't dwell on that very long, but sometimes it's long enough to let us really realize that, you know, here's what I believe. I believe that honoring God just involves discovering His picture or vision of what our lives could be and should be and what He has called us to. You know, we were created with His purposes in mind. And until we discover His purpose and follow through, there's going to be kind of that hole, you know, or that longing. And so I just will close with this. You know, there's a couple verses that I think when we think about, okay, Beth, this all sounds really great and peachy, but I know that I need to have that passion and motivation and that direction and that purpose, but what if I'm still not clear on my vision? Like, where do I get it? And I understand that. I used to think, I wish it was packaged and bottled, you know, in something you could go pick up at the store. But if you're feeling cloudy on that, let me just encourage you to just be on your knees and be on your face and, you know, just pray through that, because I believe that when we seek the Lord and when we ask Him, what is that vision for our lives, for our families' lives, for those lives that we can impact, He will give it to us. And then we pray for the courage to get off our knees and to get to work and to implement that, because He will bless the work of our hands. And so this is what I want to leave with you. And it comes from Ephesians 2:10. It says, we are His workmanship. We are created for good works, which God prepared for us from beforehand so that we would walk in them. And so don't let that slip by. Like, you are His workmanship. Say that with me. I am God's workmanship. Y'all say it with me. I am God's workmanship. And do you know what that means? That means that you are the product of God's vision. And He has decided what you could be and already knows what you should be. Already knows that. And so I just want to encourage you that we have no right to live visionless lives. We have no right to live visionless lives. As God has a vision for what you are to do with the allotment of years that He has gifted you with, you had better get on with it. You know, it would be a tragedy to miss it. And missing out on God's plans, I think, would be the greatest tragedy of our whole lives, because His vision for your life is going to be the very thing that gives your life impact far longer beyond any life that you could possibly live, because God's visions for you always have an eternal element. And so I am just prayerful that you will take this information and know that it is a commitment to work from emotion, not to work from emotion, versus commitment. You have that commitment, and then you manage your emotions on a daily basis, and sometimes an hourly basis. You take yourself through that emotional cycle, that you really remember the price of admission versus the price of success, that you pray over that vision, and that you have the courage to walk in it. Because I believe that when you do those things, you will be absolutely unstoppable. Thanks, you guys. Have a great career conference. I love ya.